I think a lot has fed this, not just the situations like a George Floyd or, name any other, any other situation where there was a black man. It's not just those particular instances. I think there's just been a buildup over time. And I talked about school and indoctrination, but look at some of the things in our media.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed even in movies, right? Even in movies, it never ends. The indoctrination, pulling on the heartstrings. I looked at, I saw a movie the other night. What is it? World War Z?
Okay.
With Brad Pitt, giving an example, right?
Okay.
So they had this whole section in the beginning.
Don't make me hate Brad Pitt.
It's not. Well, it's not. It's not Brad Pitt. It's the writers. It's the directors. So they had this whole section in the beginning on global warming.
Oh Lord.
And they had all the physical signs of global warming coming to pass. Some of the things that they're trying to avoid. Because of they suspect what global warming would cause. So even in that movie, like, I don't know, it just, I'll tell you, I was watching, not London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. So I was watching Angel Has Fallen, which is, I think, the next movie after London Has Fallen. And in this movie, Morgan Freeman's character is now the president. And so they made mention of Russia interfering in the election. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's the indoctrination is everywhere. Or I watched a few months ago, me and some coworkers, we went to see Queen and Slim. This movie where
Queen and Slim.
This movie where these two people they were on a first date. Mm-hmm. And he was driving her home, and they basically got pulled over by this really aggressive cop. But then in the movie, now I've been around aggressive cops and so forth. The cop was just unreasonably aggressive. It just seemed unreal to me. Mm-hmm. And they ended up getting into a scuffle with the cop and shooting him, and then they were like on the run basically. And so, but stuff like that, I'm like, these movies are just out of control. I can almost ruin the movie for myself because I spot indoctrination
right. It's hard
easily.
To watch now without noticing. Well, what's interesting is, how do you determine what comes first? Are the movies that showing you what's happening in real life, or is real life mimicking the movies? In which case, the screenwriters and playwright and actors are giving you the narrative to then run with, as opposed to them observing things and then having it come to pass, having it play out on a film. You know what I mean?
Well, I think people that are in Hollywood and that are in TV and that are in news and that are in music, a lot of them, the artwork that they put out there, it would give a person a pre-bias.
Yeah, of course.
So when something happens, it's like a confirmation.
Right.
It's like a confirmation. And then, so, okay, I'll give you a pre-bias. Let's say I watched Spike Lee's movie, Black Klansman. And so in the movie, they had references to Making America Great Again.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Very, 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 very slick. So they had references to that. And so, Spike Lee did an indoctrination film. He did. I can tell you and just look at how Obama got elected. That's enough. How many movies and TV shows were there black presidents? Think about that shit. Think about, okay, Morgan Freeman was president in like 2 or 3 films.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny Lester Jr. was president in The Fifth Element. And so many others. Think about how they try
Was
to get.
Jamie Foxx president in one of these movies?
I don't know if it was Jamie Foxx. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It was
Jamie
Chris Rock, really. But it was like a comedy.
Down. White House Down. Wasn't Jamie Foxx the president in that one?
White House Down?
I think so.
I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I know it right.
But this, I'm talking before Obama.
Wasn't that before Obama? Oh no,
no, that was 2013.
Yeah, my bad.
Think about all of the.
The shit is right. Kids now are not watching television the same way. Young kids, I'm saying, like not the teens and older. Like young kids are not even watching movies anymore.
Yeah.
How much of Hollywood is like totally irrelevant? Now, and they're not even watching sports anymore either, which is why a lot of them are not complaining about no sports being on. But a lot of them now are watching YouTube and stuff. So I feel like there's just a generation, maybe the people who are in high school to college age right now, to people who are in their 30s. So like, let's say the 18 to 30 group as of right now. I think these are the generations that are screwed by what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I think our kids, like the young ones especially, they're like moving into a totally different phase where television is not as influential at all.
It's not. Yep.
So I think the real lost generations are this 18 to 30 something group we have currently.
Well, that's a double-edged sword because you live in look at the platform we're on and look at the platform so many other alternative points of people who have an alternative point of view. You can go directly to your consumer.
Yes.
And you can give them good content and you can give them sound content that's truthful and they can easily verify it.
Right.
So I think there is kind of an advantage. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Trump won, the internet.
Right.
So
well, that's what I'm
Twitter.
saying. Like when it comes to the establishment, as far as the movie, the production houses, what scripts get confirmed or not confirmed or productions get made, I think like during our before it was more important. Now that they have social media and you have YouTube and you have all these other things, they're so minimalized that they have to be more extreme to get attention.
Well, that's true, but you still have to contend with that older generation, Gen X and
that's
Gen X and up. Gen X,
millennial to Gen X, right?
Gen X and up. We still consume movies. We still like some TV.
I think you could see this is what they're doing to us.
Yeah,
you could see, this is the propaganda that they're spewing. Younger kids can't see it though. They don't see it. They kind of live in a pseudo reality where they didn't experience issues younger. Like in the 80s, I grew up and we experienced a lot of social economic issues with like rampant drugs, no policing properly, and all that kind of thing. They didn't grow up with that. It was more civilized with them growing up. So what they saw was on TV. The only reason they're outraged is not because of personal experiences, is because what people are telling them to be outraged about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And until they stop doing what they're told, we're going to continue to see instances like this where, when something happens, there's these type of gatherings that are harmful to, not only to society, but the body politic in general.
Right. Well, you know what's interesting is when people have their awareness and awakening, like a friend of mine constantly going at me about Hillary Clinton. She's the best, this, that, and the other. She's the first woman to yada, 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 all about Hillary Clinton until the riots hit Soho and her girlfriends were trapped in their apartments dialing 911 and nobody was coming to help. And then it was like, this is a problem. Then it was like, hold on, let me step back. And then it became, don't, you need to support the police. You can't defund the police. This is what'll happen to you. Yeah. We've been trying to tell you that the whole time. It isn't until they had the personal experience to wake their asses up and they got scared. But like, I grew up with that fear of what the street is like. So I don't need this incident to show me. I lived it already.
I always had the idea in the back of my mind that the left wanted to federalize the local police. There's really no reason to defund the police so overall crime rates can get worse, and so that law-abiding, tax-paying citizens could feel less safe unless.
Right.
And kind of like this is what they did with healthcare insurance. They put Obamacare. They put Obamacare in. It destroys private insurance. Oh, let's do single payer. Same thing with the police. Same thing with the police. They go ahead. Let's defund the police. Crime gets worse. Oh, we need a federal police force.
Yep. That's the takeover. That's the communist takeover. Look at Venezuela. And it happens quick. They go down quick. You go down from having wealth to having limited rights to total communism, and let there be an outbreak. You won't get food. You won't get supplies. You won't have health care. You won't have anything. You'll be eating animals out of the zoo. For real.
What did Bernie Mac say? Nothing.
For real.
Seriously.
The demise of a whole economic structure to just a dictator rule. Total dictator rule.
And they're doing it. They're trying to flip, the House and the Senate, and they're trying to do it by having a one-party rule. It's the same thing as having a dictator. It really is.
Well, then it comes down to, is this the globalist agenda? Is this what the elites all over the world? Like, it's so much easier to control you when they can control your food, they can control your energy, they could control what you own, what you don't own, how productive you can be. There's no reason. You know what the biggest disadvantage people have is having all these programs that are supposed to help. Because if you look at the effects of all these programs, all it's doing is serving to cripple you. And cripple you in a way that it takes away your incentive to create anything, to build anything, to be anybody, to teach anyone else. Like, you can't even teach basic math to your own kid because they're so interested in Common Core.
Well,
it's crazy.
That and a spiritual crippling.
This is The Cure.